Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on a very specific goal, providing you with a data-driven, highly objective comparison of the top business process management platforms for 2026. Look, if you're navigating an enterprise digital transformation right now, you know exactly how noisy the market is. So we're going to cut right through the marketing fluff. We're using thousands of real user reviews to evaluate the big contenders, and then we're going to cap it all off by looking at the absolute bleeding edge of AI automation. Okay, let's dive right into this. The insights we're unpacking today, they aren't just guesswork. They are backed by the real, hands-on experiences of over 908,000 professionals who have relied on PeerSpot's rigorous enterprise software research since 2012. We're leveraging direct, unfiltered feedback from the finance specialists, the enterprise architects, and the IT leaders who are actually building and deploying these workflows every single day. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The BPM automation landscape. 2. Profiling Appian. 3. Profiling Bizagi. 4. Profiling Pega Platform. 5. The AI automation revolution. And 6. Best practices for automation. Section 1. The BPM automation landscape. Now, before we look under the hood at specific features, let's look at market mindshare as of August 2026. What's really fascinating here is just how incredibly tight this race actually is. Based on user engagement data, Bizagi currently holds a tiny edge with a 3.7% mindshare, while both Appian and Pega Platform are sitting in a dead heat at 3.4%. With the market this evenly split, the ultimate deciding factor for you is really going to come down to the nuances of each platform. Section 2. Profiling Appian. Let's focus on its specific strengths and areas for improvement, straight from enterprise users. So where does Appian shine? Users absolutely love its rapid, low-code development environment. It has this drag-and-drop simplicity and zero-code integration that makes building stable apps incredibly fast. But, no platform is completely perfect. Some users, like a director of digital customer experience we heard from, mentioned it could really use its own native Gen AI and agentic capabilities. Also, keep in mind it is a premium enterprise investment, generally running anywhere from $70 to $100 per user every month. And this brilliantly illustrates the real business impact here. Shad Baumick, a finance specialist at a government entity, noted that Appian let them pull data right out of international banking wires, totally eliminating manual data entry. They went from processing 5 to 10 transactions an hour to about 100 an hour. And the error rate? Down to practically 0. That is huge. And that kind of transformative impact, it really shows. A massive 95% of PeerSpot users say they are willing to recommend Appian to their peers. Section 3. Profiling Bizagi. Moving right along, let's give Bizagi the exact same objective treatment. Bizagi gets a ton of praise for its really rich functionality, especially its strict BPMN 2.0 compliance and a super user-friendly interface. Plus, enterprise users love its aggressive, cost-efficient pricing. But on the flip side, what's the catch? Well, some users, like Principal Standardization Officer Micah Rachuanyo, wish it had more complex decision mapping, since it currently limits you to just 3 options at a decision point. And a few folks mentioned wanting stronger integrations for highly mature cloud environments. But the core takeaway for Bizagi, like enterprise architect Fred Lee points out right here, is really its sheer accessibility. Because the toolset is just so intuitive, non-technical business users can actually understand and map out processes themselves. It is a fantastic bridge between your IT developers and the folks on the front lines. Capping off Bizagi's profile, the platform maintains a very solid 92% willingness to recommend score among its enterprise users. Section 4. Profiling Pega Platform. All right, let's introduce our final heavy hitter in this comparison. Pega Platform is an absolute powerhouse built for massive scale. If you're a global bank or an insurance provider executing millions of daily operations, Pega really shines with its agile UI and robust case management. The trade-off, though, users report a pretty steep learning curve. While their new Constellation architecture does improve consistency, some users find it kind of restricts advanced UI customization. Also, Pega can be seen as quite expensive for small and mid-sized enterprises, and upgrading the platform requires some seriously strategic planning to avoid workflow disruptions. So the crucial point here is how Pega's technical low-code capabilities translate directly into massive time-saving ROI. For large organizations willing to tackle that learning curve and invest in the licensing, the sheer speed of application deployment is a total game changer. And wrapping up our profiles, Pega proves its immense enterprise value with a very strong 91% willingness to recommend rate. Section 5. The AI Automation Revolution. Now, let's move on and see how this all builds toward the absolute bleeding edge of the industry. We're going to use Bizagi's Fall 2025 release as our prime case study here. What we're seeing now is AI shifting from just a cool little add-on to a native, governed operational layer. Bizagi built these capabilities directly into the platform, running on Microsoft Azure with private OpenAI to keep sensitive data totally secure. We're talking about an AI hub with reusable GenAI assistants. They've got AI workers using reinforcement learning to automate those incredibly boring, repetitive tasks. And they introduced Ask Ada, a conversational analytics assistant grounded in a RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation Knowledge Layer. Basically, you can securely query your business data using plain natural language. This is AI governed by deliberate data domains and personal roles, not just experimental tech. But what is the actual so what of all this? Well, Stone Coast Fund Services use these exact AI capabilities and slash their processing time by a staggering 80%. That was across 25,000 annual customer service requests. And get this, they went live in just 6 weeks. That is the kind of measurable, real-world impact native AI can actually deliver. Section 6. Best Practices for Automation. Because here is the reality check, folks. Knowing which tools have the best features just isn't enough. You have to actually know how to implement them effectively. Take a look at this syllabus for Bizagi's online instructor-led e-learning course. It's designed specifically for process designers and developers to master automation fundamentals over 6 intensive hours. Look, you literally cannot just drop AI into a broken process and expect a miracle. The course concisely walks through 3 foundational steps. Step 1, you must discover and model your data using an iterative approach. If your underlying data model is a mess, your automation is going to fail, plain and simple. Step 2, apply top UI design guidelines so your users actually want to adopt the system. And step 3, create solid business rules while carefully dodging common anti-patterns, like creating endless loops or conflicting logic. Those strong data models and clean rules, they are the absolute bedrock you must establish before you even think about adding AI agents into the mix. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Look closely at your own infrastructure, your team's technical maturity, and, well, your budget appetite. Do you need the massive scale of Pega, the rapid stability of Appian, or the intuitive mapping and governed AI capabilities of Bizagi? Use the objective data we dug into today to really evaluate your vendor selection for 2026. Thanks for learning with us, and we'll see you on the next